roll call, please.
John Coleman,
Here.
Kim Cropper,
Here.
April Fabella, here, Ronnie Maines,
Here.
Jason Payne,
Here.
Jenna Smith.
Okay, so we have a quorum. I call the meeting to order July 7th, 2025. I'd like to welcome all our guests here this evening, and if you have not done so already, please sign in up front. And that being said, Mr. Cropper, would you lead us in an invocation and then a pledge of allegiance?
Sure. Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, thank you for the day you blessed us with, another day of life. Just bring us here together tonight to conduct the city's business for its citizens, the city itself, and just as we always keep in mind that we do what you wish to bless us with and just make it respectful for all of us. God, direct us each and every way we do this and forgive us for sins and where we fail. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your grandson getting baptized. I seen that.
A few couple announcements. All right, first of all, I hope everybody had a good 4th of July weekend. There was a lot of fireworks going on, a lot of activities. It seems like we had a nice, safe weekend, so that is good. I hope you all did. Couple announcements. Stage Right Musical Theater, every weekend in July will be at the Williamstown School. I guess that starts this weekend. We have Skeeter Fest Music Festival on the 12th, and that is 3 to 11, and that is at the fairgrounds in Williamstown. Ricky Skaggs is the main attraction. I want you to know I've been playing Ricky Skaggs music on Apple Music for the past 2 weeks, so I know his songs. Music on Main, the 18th, in front of the old courthouse. Went to the one last couple weeks ago. They did a great job. We have another council meeting on the 15th of this month. We have Music in the Park. It's Grant County Park in Crittenden, which is on the 26th. The Grant County Fair, for those of you, that's the 28th of July through the 2nd of August. That will be for everybody, the family. And then the Ark is having 40 days and nights of gospel music festival starting on July 29th through the 6th of September, and that's always very positive. That's all I have for announcements. First thing on the old business is the approval of minutes for the Local Government Economic Assistance Program public hearing, which we had on June 20th. And that is, if you remember, just a public hearing we had regarding the paving and maintenance of certain roads in city of Williamstown. We can put these together if you'd like. We also, for approval of minutes and corrections for a special council meeting that was held on June 12th and regular council meeting on June 17th. All those minutes were in your packets that you received, and I'll wait for a motion to discuss, to approve, correct, at any time.
Make a motion that we approve the public hearing of June the 20th, the special council meeting of June the 12th, and the regular council meeting of June the 17th, as presented.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Cropper regarding all three meetings. The public hearing on the June 20th, special meeting on the June 12th, and a regular council meeting on June 17th. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Counselor Maines. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
John Coleman.
Yes.
Kim Cropper.
Yes.
April Fabella.
Yes.
Ronnie Maines.
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have the second reading of ordinance 2025-10, amending the City of Williamstown established list of city-maintained streets. If you recall, we did the first reading at the last meeting. Councilman Cropper brought up a small little passage of road that he felt was under city care, maintenance. Derek Holland and I went out there and agreed that it was. It was unnamed, so we have a two-part second reading here. One is the name it. We decided to call it Transport Way. And as you can see pictures in your packet where it's located. And with that, we also have the second reading of the ordinance. Mr. Morgan?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second reading of ordinance 2025-10, an ordinance of the City of Williamstown, Kentucky, amending the City of Williamstown Code of Ordinances, Chapter 91, Streets and Sidewalks, naming an unnamed city-maintained street as Transport Way, and establishing a list of city-maintained streets within the city limits of Williamstown, Kentucky. Whereas the City Council of the City of Williamstown, Kentucky sees fit to name the unnamed street located east of US 25 north and northwest of Epperson Waste Road. Whereas the unnamed street is and has been fully city-maintained since its establishment. Whereas the unnamed street is located at approximal 38.62461, -84.56779 and ending at 38.62511, -84.56657 and measuring in width of 53 feet in its entirety. And whereas the unnamed street is now established and named by the City of Williamstown as Transport Way. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Williamstown, Kentucky as follows. Section 1. The City of Williamstown, Kentucky hereby establishes the following lists of streets located within the city limits of Williamstown that are maintained by the city, as shall include but not be limited to snow and or ice removal, application of de-icing salt, and resurfacing when needed. I'm going to read the name of the street and then the distance of that street. Admiral Drive, its entirety. Arlington Court, its entirety. Arrowhead Drive, its entirety. Barnes Road frontage, 1.7. Baton Rouge Road, 1.8. Belmont Court, its entirety. Blanche Avenue, its entirety. Carter Court, its entirety. Castle Knoll Road, 0.158. Charlotte Heights, its entirety. Cherry Grove Road, 0.543. Church Street, its entirety. Churchill Drive, its entirety. Colonial Court, its entirety. Conrad Lane, 1.4. Court Street, Crestview Lane, and Cunningham Street, all in their entireties. Cynthiana Street, 1.539. Dickerson Lane, its entirety. Draper Road, part of Frank Webb Memorial Draper Road, 0.076. Frank Webb Memorial Park, Park Drive, its entirety. Garnett Avenue, Grandview Heights, Harbor Court, Helton Heights, and High Street, all in their entirety. Humes Ridge Road, 1.985. Industrial Road, 0.930. Industrial Road Spur, 0.102. And then the following streets are all in their entirety. James Street Connector, Johnson Street, Keeneland Drive, Kelly Avenue, Kimberly Drive, Lake Street, Lakeland Court, Lakeshore Court, Lakeside Court, Lakeview Drive, Lapine Avenue, Linwood Drive, McDuffie Street, Mercedes Drive, Mill Street, Nature's Way, Noah's Way, Regency Court, Ridgely Drive, Roselawn Drive, Sayers Drive, Shorts Street, Skyway Drive, Smith Street, Southern Drive, Stony Ridge Court, Summit Avenue, Sunrise Street, Sunset Drive, Terrace Drive, Tracy Lane. Those streets are all in their entirety that I just read. Transport Way, 0.044. Travis Lane, its entirety. Waterworks Road, 1.707. Willovier Lane, its entirety. William Arnold Drive, its entirety. Section 2. The provisions of this ordinance are severable, and the invalidity of any provision of the ordinance shall not affect the validity of any other provision thereof, and such other provisions shall remain in full force and effect as long as they remain valid in the absence of those provisions determined to be invalid. Section 3. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 4. This ordinance shall be published in summary pursuant to KRS 83A.060, subsection 9, and shall be effective as soon as possible according to law. A line for David A. Henson, the mayor, City of Williamstown, Kentucky, to sign and to be attested by Crystal Fryman, City Clerk Treasurer. Also attached to this as Exhibit A is an aerial view of Transport Way. As the mayor just mentioned to you, this was discussed previously in June at a meeting, and that this naming of it and this addition to it are substantially complying with having that as part of the prior reading on the first go-around.
Thank you, Luke. Since this is our second reading, I will need a motion and a second, and we'll have a vote to accept ordinance 2025-10.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion made by Councilor Fabella. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilor Coleman. Any discussion on the motion? Being none, roll call.
John Coleman,
Yes.
Kim Crupper,
Yes.
April Fabella,
Yes.
Ronnie Maines,
Yes.
and Jason Payne.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Okay, looking for some committee updates, if we have them. I wasn't sure, so I put it down on the agenda. Jason, or Jennifer, any update for Marigold Day?
For Marigold Day, we didn't get to have a meeting today. There's a few folks that couldn't make it. A couple of things that we were wanting to get back to you guys on, though, were the nonprofits, 501c3s. There was a question if they could get a free booth at the event. And yes, we will have limited space for 501c3s. If they want to fill out the application, we will allow them to have a booth at the event, and assuring that they comply with all of the rules of the event for vendors. They do need to stay the entire time, and we do want anybody that's involved with the event to also help promote it if they can, if they have a Facebook or anything like that, would like those 501c3s to help us to promote it. So yes, we will have limited booth space for those individuals that would like to apply for a booth. And that was one of the questions, and then, we did secure the Top This Band. I think that we already talked about that last time, but they will be also another featured band there, for Marigold Day. We are, we'll have Top This Band and also Marty Brown. Those are the two, folks that will be doing the entertainment. We also have a jump rope show that, they were featured on, America's Got Talent. They will be, at our show as well. And so we got a lot of great entertainment. We got our activities being locked down for the inflatables and different things for the kids zone. And we're still in need of folks to sign up for our parade. If you guys are interested and want to do a parade float, need a lot of help with that. We're also going to have a car show. I think Ronnie was going to help with the car show. And all that to say is, things are full speed. The website is up. If you go to marigoldday.org, you can check out more information on marigoldday.org. And I think we're also going to be working on the stage pretty soon. The stage is going to get revamped, and we're ordering supplies and stuff for that, so that the stage can be remodeled and reused for years to come. So it's going to be, the stage is going to be really nice when we're done with that. I think also, I did mention it to the fire department, we're looking for some volunteers to help with some of the first aid, and also possibly, I know the fire department also has a couple inflatables. We might want to have those at the event as well. So that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions regarding Marigold Day?
Any questions for Councilor Payne? We did put, attached to your packets, the minutes of their first meeting for everyone to take a look at if you have any questions.
We will have a Zoom meeting later this week, just so we can kind of get updates from everybody. So we'll have that later this week, and I'll send you guys the minutes from our Zoom meeting.
Thanks, Jason. You guys got a lot done in a short period of time.
Thank you.
Pretty
It's exciting,
Web Park, anything, Mr. Councilor Coleman?
No, I don't think we have anything yet. I mean,
Okay.
I think Derek's been tearing out some of the concrete down there, but other than that, we don't have anything.
Yeah, I think his concrete, major starts tomorrow,
Yeah,
and that's coming out, and the buildings are gonna be
the
removed.
buildings, yeah, because no one had objection to the buildings, right?
That's correct.
So we're gonna go ahead and take them out.
Yep.
And that way we'll get all that cleared up for when we can get someone to do the courts, start the courts anyways.
Yep, good.
Did you mention to John them about the closing of the gates?
It's on my update.
Good.
Okay, thank you, John and Jason. Mayor's update, just a couple, quick things. The lake dredging, as you know, Mark Mosier and my friend Tom's group came to, talk about getting the areas in front of their docks dredged, which we all agreed would be beneficial to everybody concerned. We have a contract drawn up, we'll put it together for the legalese. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. The question came up, do they need permission from the Division of Water? We gave Mark a contact. It turns out they do. And it also turns out they have to have them individually. So what does that mean? I have no idea, other than I'm sure it's gonna take longer than expected. So we were originally going to start, I guess, next week. I'm assuming, Tom, that's out now? Yeah. But as soon as they get that piece squared away, then we can move forward. But I know, on our end, we are ready to go. Anything you wanna add to that, Tom?
No, I would just say that, they said it could take, these things typically could take up to 120 days.
Yeah.
So we're hoping it'll go faster than that, but, so if it's 120 days, we may be into next year.
Maybe. Yeah. Web Park, so a couple of things on Web Park. I think I've talked about in the last couple meetings that we've had some vandalism at Webb Park. We've had some graffiti, and we do have some security cameras that we'd like to look at, available from the budget to purchase. But the park has an opening and closing timeline, and we are going to enforce that. During the week, Monday through Friday, the street department will open up the gate approximately 8 a.m. every day. The police department will close the gate approximately at 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and the police department will do both on Saturday, Sunday. So I think if anything, it will deter, people who have negative intentions of going down there. It's just one more thing that I think we can do. There is a sign there now that says 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're gonna change that to 9 p.m. There's no need, I don't believe, to have it stay open to 10. And also, just in addition, probably come after Thanksgiving, we'll close it down for the season and open it back up in the spring. And I don't know if that's been done in the past. I think it has. I don't know if anybody's keeping track of it, but unless there's any heartburn at this table over that, that's what we'll do. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the occupational payroll tax again. I brought this up during our second reading of our budget, I believe last meeting, and I asked everybody to ponder that proposal. And I heard no feedback from this table. I know Mr. Councilman Cropper has given his support to it. And I don't mean that negative or positive, I'm just saying that's the only feedback. I've heard some concerns. I am going to propose that at our next meeting. I'm gonna have an ordinance written. It'll be our first reading of the ordinance. And unless, there's a consensus here tonight, I'm gonna move forward with that. I mean, there's still plenty of time for discussion when we go through the readings and all that. But I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware that that's coming.
I'm sorry, I wasn't here the last meeting, but what was the
Lowered it to 0.5%.
0.5%?
0.5%.
What's the total numbers that we would, generate, the revenues that we would no longer,
It's somewhere between 40 and 60,000.
$40,000-$60,000?
Crystal, am I incorrect? Am I right?
Yeah, I think that's what we talked
Yeah.
about.
And that would create some kind of relief for the folks that are paying
Folks-
that payroll tax. How much would that, I'm just trying to say what the bottom line is for them if they're getting 0.5% off of their check.
I don't know what people get deducted, I'm not
Yeah.
there, everybody's different. But I do know it's a 0.5% of a tax, that I believe we don't need to tax. And I'm a firm believer in not overtaxing the taxpayers of the city.
I agree. I just wanna make sure that you don't shortchange yourself when if you look at the numbers and you believe that we have a good surplus of, but I think I would wait for the forensic audit and wait for some things to come back to know exactly where we're at and then make that decision, because there's parks, there's stuff that we haven't done anything with our parks. I'd like to see some more stuff happen with the community and some things get done so that there's some improvements citywide, because I believe we still need some of that revenue to do some things.
And we will have some of that. Right now, we currently tax 1.5%. I'm asking for a 0.5%. And if you've read or seen the fiscal court, they are doing the same as of January 2026. look, I think I reported here, there was a line item that we had, that the money that we had collected since October of '23 of the 1.5 occupational tax was not touched. So the previous administration either didn't know they even had that money or didn't think they needed to spend it. Either way, in my opinion, it's proof of overtaxing the residents of this town. And the fact that we do have to rebuild our parks, and we do have to improve our infrastructure, which is also what I stated during our budget process. I believe we need that 1%, but I don't believe we need 1.5%.
I agree with the mayor on that. I asked Mr. Henson a month ago when we was talking about budget. The biggest complaint I hear in our city and the county is how high the payroll tax is to work in Grant County. And of course, on top of that, you layer it with Williamstown's payroll tax. When we adopted the payroll tax, we was one of 3 cities that was still left in northern Kentucky that didn't have a payroll tax. Yes, we needed it, as the mayor's pointed out, in respect of our city employees, anybody that works in the city limits here, school teachers, employees of mine, they complain to me about it. I can send my employees to Boone County and they can work cheaper up there than they can in Grant County. So with that said, I applaud the county for lowering theirs 0.5%. At least we're trying to send a message more competitively. We can bring businesses to Grant County because currently we have the highest payroll tax in the state, combining with Williamstown and the Grant County payroll tax. It's the highest. So yes, I fully support it. I appreciate you bringing it to light that we can do this, and that's my take on it.
Boone County, I pay $600 cap. My wife and the other school teachers, when I come up here when that tax was going on, and other people, firefighters, everybody, I mean, they're $600 cap. She paid like, I think it was $2,400 county and city last year.
Yeah.
Taxes. County's more than, yeah.
Yeah. Look, I believe we want to be a business-friendly town,
Absolutely.
and I believe this is just one step to help us do that. Look, I appreciate everybody's feedback, Jason, I do, and we'll have much more time to discuss this. But I'm just letting everybody know that I'm prepared to do that. I'm gonna go forward with it. And we'll discuss it when the time comes. A while back, Councilor Smith brought up the traffic on Main Street. Councilor Coleman has also brought up a couple of areas downtown that he'd like to see change or improve. And so Derek and I went down, we've had a couple meetings with District 6, and we've walked downtown several times. We proposed putting in a crosswalk right in the middle of town. It would be from Tony's Barber Shop on one side across to basically Hansi's Flip on the other side. If you probably all know, there's a stairway coming up from the parking lot and back. There's a gazebo that comes up. You walk up the stairs, the crosswalk is there. You can walk across to the other side of town. It's really, to me, the best place to put a crosswalk. You're smack dab in the middle of town. You're in the middle of the, the restaurants there. So we've done our homework on that, and we've basically got the okay, but there is one caveat. It will probably lose us 4 parking spaces to do this. Originally, it was 8. I spoke to the gentleman, I said, that's crazy. He acquiesced to 4. And basically what it is he needs 20 feet on each side of no parking spaces on both sides to put the crosswalk in. So, my suggestion, and since we've done all this work down below in that parking lot behind the courthouse, it's pretty cleaned up, it's been restriped, it's looking, 100% better than it did. With additional signage with signage of additional parking in back, I still think it's the right thing to do. But certainly, I know businessmen downtown may have other thoughts, and I'm just throwing it out there to the council. Do we go forward with that, or do we put the brakes on it?
I think losing 4 spots downtown, we should pump the brakes on it, to be honest with you. I mean,
One more thing, John, keep in mind, we added 2 parking spots, in that parking spot, to your left.
well, I think of like Joe at Tony's there,
Yeah,
and with the construction of the hotel, he's lost parking spots there. Potential parking spots for customers. And then if you take another 2 away from his side, his customers are forced to come up the steps in the back. And not every customer can come up steps. So I think about that for that individual business itself. Losing parking spots is just hard because we are limited to our street parking as it is right now, in my opinion. I know it's nice to have those steps there, and I really would love to have a crosswalk there, but I don't know if I think it's something that maybe we could have a conversation with those businesses, because you're gonna take, I don't know how they feel about it either, you know what I mean?
well, I was gonna involve the businesses before the
Yeah,
decision
before
was
we
made. I
make
agree
that
with
decision, I don't wanna, I know my business downtown, I wouldn't want us to take away 2 spots around in front of it. And as much as I think a crosswalk could be needed, I wouldn't want to lose my parking. Even if I can park around back, we still, I think of the elderly, and not just the elderly, but if you snap your leg.
Yeah, I get it.
You still want a haircut, you still want a cheeseburger, you still want all that stuff, and it'd be hard to get to it, so, but, it's just my thoughts.
No,
on it.
I perfectly understand. Anyone else?
I agree with John. I've been really noticing the last month, people walking back and forth on Main Street. I don't think a crosswalk's gonna make any difference. They get out of their car, they look across the street, they look both ways, and they're just gonna cross anyway. Losing 4 or 8 parking spaces. People see a vacant area to park, whether it's striped or not, they're gonna park there. That's just what they do. I'm sorry I have to say it that way, but you can't sugarcoat how people park. You see it, they park this way, they park that way. They got part of the car out. There was a lady last week there, she had both the doors open, helping all of her kids out. And you had to stop in the road so she could close her doors. Lighting up there, caution lights would help. The post office has a crosswalk, and have your life insurance paid up if you want to cross from a car in front of that one.
What about Mill Street?
But
I'm gonna get to
anyway,
those 2 in a minute.
Okay.
but still, I have to have reservations on the crosswalk in the middle of town. You've got one down there at the courthouse, and that may be what Ronnie's gonna bring up at Mill Street, but I see people get out, they just cross anyway. I don't know if they'd walk out to the crosswalk or not, Mayor. I just really,
Okay.
That's just
I'm not
people.
disagreeing.
Nobody stops when you're trying to cross by High Street either. Like, when I take the kids across, I could stand there forever and they just keep on driving.
Yeah.
Nobody stops
I had
for us to
late,
cross.
there was a party there last week, some people out of town up there at the hamburger place. I'm traveling this way, they get in their car, they just simply made a U-turn right in town. I thought, well, who does that? You ain't gonna do that in a pickup truck, it was a little car.
I have done that from the post office.
Mayor.
Yeah.
What?
Give him a ticket.
Yeah.
But anyway,
We need to add
you
those
see
to
people
signs.
do things like that, whether it's a U-turn or, I don't know, I don't wanna see waste of paint on the crosswalk.
All right, so So why don't, that being said, let's at least wait until the hotel is done, we got the parking lot spaces there, and we can address it down the road. I'm fine with that. Anybody
John.
I know,
not okay with that? All right.
can be revisit later.
Mill Street. So I was told that at one point we were given the okay to put a crosswalk at Mill Street. I'm not sure if we need one there, Ronnie, but I can further look into it to see if they still,
Well, people could walk down to that.
yeah,
And then across. Because years ago, there was a crosswalk there. Yeah.
I'll
And there
follow
was
up with
one in
that.
front of the the Hotel Donald there, there was one there. But we
Yeah,
don't-
Mill Street, you've already lost the one parking spot on the one side, and then the
Yeah.
other side, you're clear. Yeah.
We'll probably okay.
On the other side of town, is your only questionable spot would be.
But I think you got the roads there, that makes a difference. You put one in the middle of
Yeah.
Williamstown, you ain't got no roads, you gotta take the parking spots to go across.
I will look into that. As far as, we talked about a one-way street, Mill Street, which would be going west to east towards 22. We can do that. It's our city street, that can be done. There's a couple of state regulations we'd have to follow, but nothing major. So my question to the council, do we wanna pull the trigger on that?
I mean, I think it's very dangerous coming out of there and trying to turn, especially when town is busy and the cars are there. You can't see it come out. I think John brought that up last time. Somebody's gonna get hit coming out
I
of
know a
there.
lot of people that travels that, and I got that
They can go
garage
around
down there,
and
and
use
they
the light.
stopped and asked me, a lot of people asked me, they said, you put it one way, and I'm coming through in the mornings. I'm going to work that way.
Well, if you do
It's
that-
just a shortcut both
Yeah.
ways.
But it's not really that much of a
No, it ain't.
shortcut.
No.
You're not saving yourself
No.
hardly any time.
And it is hard to see to come out of it. I mean,
Even,
that-
even with that, because it's blocked off a little bit, and it's, even then, you gotta keep edging out,
Right, you
keep
gotta do
edging
something.
out.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to pull the trigger on that if there's consensus.
I'll state it again, I don't think I think moving forward for the future of the town and the traffic that we have, I think Mill Street one way is in the best interest of our town. I know people it's gonna take a lot of signage because they're not gonna like it, and I get it. And we'll catch a lot of little feedback from it, but, I mean, I have talked to a lot of people out in 22 that also said, you're right, you know, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, it's just a matter of whether we do it or not.
Did you check into the stop sign right there? For all the like a three-way stop or four-way stop?
On Main Street,
Yeah, you can't stop right there?
I think that would be, I don't think people would stop.
No.
You can't just think what people are gonna think. I mean, whatever you do, you're gonna have to retrain people and put signs. All I'm saying is, that would help you with your crosswalk situation, and also stop people at the four-way stop there before they turn. This guy has to stop. It would slow down traffic downtown, maybe too much, but it would give the whole area a safer feel if there was a stop sign right there. Not a stop light, a stop sign, a four-way
Yeah,
stop.
I get it. Anyone else on that? 'Cause I would not be in favor of stop signs there.
I think the stop signs, I think it disrupts the flow of traffic more, and I think that's another reason I wanna bring Mill Street up to the light, was just because then you can just turn right on the light, you've got the light, and it keeps the flow going. I mean, I don't wanna disrupt the flow. I know it's gonna disrupt some people's mornings when they're running 30 seconds late, you know what I mean? They're late already, I'm sorry.
I mean, disregard the light now, that's back in front of your shop.
Yeah,
It's been there long enough and they still fly through it.
they do.
I mean, I think of that as a stop sign there, Jason, in my opinion, is like the red light at Tractor Supply. I can't stand it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Matter
I'm
of
saying,
fact, I run it weekly.
traffic's gonna, I mean, I'm just saying, you gotta think of also that the stoplight, when everybody's going directed around to the stoplight, how much is that gonna back up into all the way back into the community that there, when you have all the traffic coming to that light, instead of relief at both ends, you're gonna have everybody, I mean, can you time the light to where it's gonna let people out a little more, or is it just gonna be backing up at that light now?
I think that light there is the best light we have as far as turning for when we do let people, you know. The last time we had a three-way or four-way stop was up by the high school there, on Barnes Road. What a disaster that was. It's much smoother now that that's taken out and it just runs smoother through there. I mean,
I think one way's the best way to go.
I do think one way is the best option. I mean, it's still gonna help with your crosswalk situation, cause you only got one-way traffic, not two-way. I know people are gonna go the opposite way still for a little while. I mean, they're going to, I get that. But I don't think it takes too many tickets, so to speak, before you stop doing that.
So that leads me to my last, that's the segue to my last piece. The traffic downtown, I've had more than several resident complaints of not only the traffic downtown, but all the way, you know, Ridgely and that whole area, even Ridgely Road. And we've increased the police presence, if you will, and we've spoken to a few people, and you know, I don't think any tickets have been given out. But that's gonna change because people are just not listening. They're parking in areas that there's no parking, and we've warned several residents several times, and it's just like talking to this iPad here. So we're gonna give we will continue to impress upon people to follow the rules, please, but at some point, we may have to get a little more direct. And I'm just letting people know that now, and I'm sure I'll be getting phone calls, but it's the safety of our residents and our people of our town that I'm worried about. And downtown, they're literally blocking alleyways by parking their cars in streets. Also, this is my last one, I promise. Last meeting, we talked about setting up some kind of caucus meetings regarding, plans of the future. What is it that we would like to do, and our vision, if you will. That being said, I have not scheduled anything. I think it's best to wait till summer's over and school's starting and people are not so crazy. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to talk to some business people downtown and set up a business association, if you will, business group, and get some forums going and get some discussions going to see what the business people downtown are looking for. So look for that in the very near future. Those are my updates. Any questions, concerns, feedback? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, parentheses 1, parentheses F, personnel, and then KRS 61.810, 1C, pending litigation.
I'll make a motion.
Counselor Crumpler made the motion,
I'll second it.
seconded by Counselor Maines. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call?
John Coleman,
No.
Kim Crupper,
Yes.
April Fabella,
Yes.
Ronnie Maines,
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We can go down to the conference room.
courtroom between
entertain a motion to come out of executive session,
I'll make that motion.
made by Counselor Maine. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Payne. Just an FYI, no votes were taken, no decisions made during the executive meeting. Any other discussion? All in favor? Roll call?
John Coleman,
Yes.
Kim Cropper,
Yes.
April Fabella,
Yes.
Ronnie Main,
Yes.
and Jason Payne.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, so one of the things that we spoke about was fire chief consideration and appointment. Since I've been mayor, that's one of the things that, we knew was coming up. We knew we had to put a permanent chief in place so we can move forward with that department. And our current interim chief, Chief Todd, has done a very good job. He has the respect of the department. I have met with the board, I have met with individuals, I met with the department as a whole the other day. And the qualifications that the board shared with me, certainly Todd meets all of them. I think they would agree. And I think we're lucky to have Chief Anderson, at this time, who basically got us through a rough period from the past, immediate past chief that we had. So, all that being said, I am recommending as our new permanent fire chief, Todd Anderson, for the position. And I would entertain a motion to confirm that from the council.
I'll make that motion.
Made by Counselor Maines,
I'll second that.
seconded by Counselor Fabella. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, like I said, not having the process this time, after it was asked for the first time, and not going through the process, I'm trying to set a standard, just, this is what we're gonna do, so I'd like to continue to do, once we start something, I would like to continue to do those things. But with that being said, that's all that's all I got to say.
I understand. Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call?
John Coleman,
Yes.
Kim Cropper,
Yes.
April Fabella,
Yes.
Ronnie Main,
Yes.
and Jason Payne.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, chief. Thank you for everything that you do. That being said, we have the first of the month, the first meeting of each month. We have an open forum. Residents can come up, taxpayers of the city of Williamstown, state their name, where they live, and tell me what's on your mind. If there's anybody who'd like to take advantage of that at this time. Tom?
I'm not a taxpayer, I'm not a citizen technically, but you guys know me. My name is Tom Hutchins. I'm representing the Williamstown Lake Association. Mr. Mayor, Councilman, I appreciate your time. What I would like to share with you is an idea that we came up with. It's kind of funny, it came up right after the 4th of July. Let me hand these out, and I apologize. I thought I put a 10, and apparently I can't count, because I only did 6. But at least you guys can have a look at them. Not exactly sure who made these up the first time, but I've seen them around once or twice. And what we'd like to do is come up with a very simplified version of the rules on the lake. After the 4th of July weekend, things got crazy. People weren't necessarily following them 100%, and they could possibly say maybe they don't know the rules, even though as a boat owner and driver, it's your job to know the rules of whatever body of water you're going on. So what we would like to do is talk to you guys about possibly getting a couple banners, like 3 by 3 or something like that, pretty big, that we can hang up down at the marina, like on the side of the stage down there, maybe on the building with Mark's permission. Make it real obvious. These are the rules of the lake. over the time. First of all, Fish and Wildlife was out over the weekend, awesome. People were complaining right and left. So that's good news, because, yeah, that means that they were doing their job, they were stopping people, doing safety checks and all that kind of stuff. What we'd like to do is put up these banners and asking for permission, help. Does anybody know how to make, where we can get these waterproof or, outside proof type of posters printed up? We're happy to pay for them or whatever, but first of all, asking your permission to be able to do it, because folks do own the marina. But then also, if anybody has any ideas on how we might go about that. The idea is, just like I said, to make it very obvious what the basic fundamental rules of the lake are. And one of my favorites on there is that, explaining to people exactly what no wake zone means out of the speed. The guy coming through on the bath with 60 miles an hour says, well, I'm not making much of a wake. You're not, but you're doing 60 miles an hour when you're supposed to be idle speed only. So, one of my pet peeves. Any thoughts, any questions?
Comments?
I don't know about him Mark handing out things, 'cause I feel like they'll just end up being in the lake or, garbage as far as like paper wise. My daughter works down there, she fuels the boats and stuff, and I know she has a list of rules that she has to say to each person.
Okay.
I think she probably has them memorized by now, but she reads off, and they have to agree to that before they can even leave. So if they're updated, then, the employees can be updated on their list of rules. But she does have to go through them with every one of the customers before they leave that dock.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
A few years ago, on your list here, I know at one time it was pretty heated there for a couple of years, bladder boats, ballast boats. How's that played out now?
It's played out pretty good. Occasionally, you'll see someone out there surfing, but, everybody, you see it all over Facebook immediately. Everybody's videotaping it, sticking it up there, and of course, you gotta take it down because it's, but people are commenting to the people who are out there and telling them, you're not allowed to surf. That's one of the rules of the lake. The ballast in the wake boats, 95% of people are following it. You can always tell when a boat goes by it's got full ballast because it's really low in the water. And again, we try to inform people, but obviously we have no legal authority. So we just try to share the information to tell people, what the rules are, and we'd appreciate if they follow them. So, yes.
I think it's a great idea to promote this. Rather than a banner, because the banner doesn't look very official, I would go with the zebra mussels. I know they have a big metal sign, but
I'm up there.
yeah, okay. I would say where every place that you dock a boat, I would put a big, at least a 24 by 36 large printout of this, and then also put the ordinance here at the bottom and say prosecutors will be, whoever, you gotta make it more, you gotta make it sound more scary and legal, because people are just gonna look at this and they're like, oh, that's the rules, okay, great, that's fun. But you gotta make it, put some ordinance or some KRS statute behind it, because it's, I agree, we want people to be safe out there, and if there's just folks that are doing stupid things, that's not gonna help our fire department or anybody, extending resources to stupid accidents. So, I would suggest getting something that's more permanent rather than a banner, and making it look more official.
There was a couple of signs there several years ago that had all that stuff
Yeah, there was
on it,
signs.
but it would take you 10 minutes to read the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why
It
we
was very
kinda-
complicated.
That's why we
Yeah.
kind of try to simplify it so you can glance at it.
It had a lot of that information on it,
Yeah.
Jason, but,
It-
I
whoa.
got no problem with the KRS, the ordinance number at the bottom.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea, but.
If it's everybody's okay, Tom, I would love to meet with you. Maybe this week we can sit down, go over a plan of action
Okay,
and just get it done.
sounds good.
Do you have, you have an email list or wherever to send this out to everybody that lives around the lake too, right? I think everybody should get a copy of this that's on the Lake Association. Just the more you promote this and educate people about it, the more, we all need to respect the rules and everybody needs to be a rule follower out here. If you see a friend or a neighbor that's blowing by at 80 miles an hour, making an unsafe situation for your kids, I mean, that's not a very good neighbor. So you wanna be good neighbors, you wanna be able to,
Add it to the Airbnbs that are down there, like their information stuff.
yeah, maybe the Airbnbs.
That's a thought, because we're getting a lot more of those.
Yeah, I mean,
down
people
there
that just don't live here and don't know the rules, like, here they
now.
are,
They bring their boat down, but.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have put, just so you know, we have put these out in the newsletter in the past, but I got no problem with refreshing people because there's been a lot of sales down there and that kind of stuff, so, you know, they should know. We got the possibility of being able to probably physically mail, because we don't have the email address of everyone on the lake, obviously, because they're not all members of the association, so, but, you know, we send stuff out to the members of the association, and I think we've got the addresses of most of the people down there, so we could, you know, possibly mail one out to them.
I have asked Chief Collins to have a little more of a presence down there as well, so,
Yeah.
we're gonna
I
start
wasn't
that.
sure if the patrol was down there
Yeah.
over the weekend or not, you know, I just saw the Fish and Wildlife guys go by, and I heard a lot of, you know, people grumbling
Yep.
because they were getting safety checks and stuff like that, but, you know, my opinion, that's a great thing.
Yeah, you gotta reinforce whatever you're trying to say here. You have to do it 3 or 4 times. Maybe you wanna send a friendly reminder every quarter to your people, just, hey, remember, make sure everybody's adhering to the rules here. And Luke, can you find the ordinance, or do we know the ordinance for this?
I can look at the
Yes, sir, it's right here.
Okay. Maybe we put that on there just so
Well,
people know it's actual law.
yeah, we can put the ordinance number down. I don't know if you wanna put the whole
There's
ordinance.
18 pages of
Yeah.
ordinance.
No,
but
yeah,
it's,
just a-
Section 95, begins
Just
with
the law.
section 95.
Yeah, the number, that's what I was talking about.
A lot of stuff down there doesn't pertain necessarily to the boating
Yeah.
on the lake, there's a lot of stuff about the docks and stuff like that as well, so.
Or have it added to the Airbnb policies when you go to rent an Airbnb, like it
Yeah.
usually gives you all the rules and policies, and you have to sign off on it before you even can put a deposit or anything down. So then they can say they saw it, or at least they skimmed through it or skipped it and just signed, but
Now, to be honest, I don't know how we would be able to do anything with that, we have no legal
just
authority.
speaking to the owners to see if they could add it to their
I don't
policies.
even know who a lot of the owners are. We got people from California buying things and, you know, flipping them and that kind of stuff, so. You know, we can try to do what we can do.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, let's start off doing what we can do.
Yep.
So, if you and I meet this week.
Sounds good.
All right.
Any more questions? Thank you, folks. Sorry, I went over my 90 seconds.
It's okay. We're gonna deduct it from next time. Anyone else from the audience like to speak their mind on anything? Okay. Since there is none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
I'll
Made by
second.
Counselor Coleman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Counselor Raines, roll call?
John Coleman.
Yes.
Kim Crumpler.
Yes.
April Fabella.
Yes.
Ronnie Main.
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.